The RC3 is trash. Well, that's what I've been reading. That's what I've been hearing from a few people. And I saw a bunch of comments, a bunch of people asking me on my videos because they see an RC3 on my guns occasionally. Hey, tell me about the RC3. What do you think about that? And I can tell you, like I've heard the internet does not like them. And however, however, I will happily buy more of them. I'm sure I'm going to get more. I'm very happy with mine. It does all the things I needed to do. So I want to go through some of the things I've been hearing about the RC3, and I can tell you like what I like about the one I have, what I don't like, and why. Again, the RC3 for me, it's the suppressor I'm going to buy more of when it's time to get suppressors. Anyway, let's get into it. So I just want to run down some of the issues I've seen talked about. I did a brief Google search. So don't crucify me, guys. If there's something that you're mad about that I say, I just took a look at the stuff that people were talking about or the complaints they have with the RC3. And again, I'll like tell you what I think or what my experience has been, and then you can decide for yourself. And I'll also tell you before I get into this, I don't think the RC3 is the suppressor for you. It's probably not something that you want to buy, need to buy, or should. It's probably not, because when I tell you why I like it, you'll probably listen to that and be like, yeah, that's not my use case. I don't really care about that. And that's fair enough. It's good for me, probably not good for you if you're watching this on YouTube. But for some of you, you'd be like, oh, that is my use case. That's what I want it for. Okay, so let's go through it. So the big thing that I've seen online, it's not the biggest thing, but one of the big things I've seen online is the fireball flash thing coming out of the suppressor, like at low light especially. I've seen some pretty gnarly photographs. Oh, look at the flash, especially the first round. I can tell you, I have not experienced that. Now, I've only shot the thing at night, shot it under nods. Well, once, like I've shot that can under nods once at night, and then I shoot it indoors like with the reduced light occasionally. I also shoot it indoors in full light. I haven't seen the flash thing. Like I haven't seen that. Now I should tell you, I'm attaching it to 3-prong devices. So I think a lot of the flash issue is associated with muzzle brakes or maybe war comps, but I'm not using that device. And I don't have that on my guns. So it's like, the flash thing, that's just not something that I've seen. Now, in fairness, it's not something I really care about. It's not like I'm not taking this thing to a war or anything. I'm not using it for that. So I wouldn't care a whole lot if it did that, but I'm just telling you, like, I haven't really seen it. I haven't seen that. I've seen other discussion about like how much sound reduction there is in terms of decibels, like how many decibels does it reduce or this and that. Shooting it side by side with other cans, because like there'll be people that bring different things on courses and stuff like that. I'm not sensitive to it. I don't care that much about how many decibels of sound reduction there is. To me, it's like you're shooting supersonic rifle rounds anyways. Maybe it sounds a little louder or quieter than other cans. Like it's compared for me, the thing I shoot it side by side with the most is the Hux stuff, the Huxworks can, whatever the hell their flagship can is, or the one that DOJ uses now or whatever. That I don't even, this is how little I care about the details of the suppressors. But shooting it side by side with all that stuff, I don't hear a dramatic difference. Being honest, I wouldn't care that much if I did, but to me, the cans come in, it's like either the rifle's suppressed or it's not. It doesn't make a huge difference to me, like exactly like measuring the sound of it or whatever. It's just, again, it's not why I have it on. I don't really care about that detail of it. It's not going to be like safe to shoot it without hearing protection anyway. I mean, it's still pretty loud. It's suppressed, but it's still pretty loud. And again, I just haven't seen an issue with that. As far as the weight, the size of the suppressor, like a lot of people are very, very sensitive, like to exactly how many ounces is it? How big? How long is it? Exactly that stuff. again, for my use case, I don't care that much. All of the suppressors I have, I've gotten like the full size ones. I mean, even though I could get, the mini, what are they, the mini RC2s or whatever, like that would be appropriate for my barrel length or whatever. I just get the full size ones anyway, just because I'm like, it'll be plenty rugged. I'm not too worried about the extra weight on the end of the gun. It'll be good for training anyway. So again, for me, it's like those are issues that people talk. I see people discussing that like in a comparative sense online, and it's like that stuff is not even on my radar. Like the exact, you know, weight, the profile, exactly the decibels of sound reduction, that kind of stuff. I don't care too much about that stuff. Now, one thing that I do pay a lot of attention to is the longevity of it, the ruggedness, how rugged the suppressor is, and how long it's going to last. Again, I see it side by side with the Hux thing, and I think what does Hux say? Those are like 25,000 rounds, something like that, 20, 25,000, 30,000 maybe. Now I've seen, comparatively, I mean, again, I shoot side by side with people a lot. I can confirm, but based on what I've seen and what I've been told by people who seem pretty informed, it's like, yeah, 25,000 rounds, like that's about right for the Hux cans, depending on exactly how you use it or whatever. I think that's about right that it'll go 25,000 rounds, and that's it is what it is. That's fine. But for my RC3s, I would expect those to go 75 or 100,000 rounds. The way I was told to take care of it by the Surefire bros was, hey, shoot it 5,000, 7,500, maybe 10,000, whatever. When you starts to like look dirty or starting to look clogged up, that's when you're going to want to clean it. That was about right. I started, I think about 7,500 rounds. I noticed like, okay, it's starting to get a little carboned up in there. And then by 10,000, it's like, okay, I'm going to take it off and clean it and then clean it out, whatever. I expect following that process, my can should go 75,000, maybe 100,000 rounds. Now, again, compared to the Hux can, like the RC3 is for that is like, that's pretty baller in terms of longevity. Like I like that. It's a hard use training can for me. And I'm going to, over time, I'm going to put that many rounds through the cans. So it's like, well, I want the one gives me a bunch of longevity and is very, very rugged. I like that. Like that's what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to, like, you guys know me, like any piece of gear, I'm eventually going to wear it out or destroy it. Having one that lasts a long time, like that's good for me. Like I like that. The other thing I like about the RC3 is that I do like the Surefire mounting system. Now it's a little bit hokey for people to like shoot the can off the gun, but for me, I really like that. I like that I'm always sure that I'm going to get the can off the gun. So I just like unhook the little ring thing, shoot it off the gun, whatever. Like it's a lot of people don't like that, but again, for me, I do like that because I'm ensuring it's definitely going to come off there. So those aspects of it, like the longevity and the mounting system, like good for me. I like that. Now, one thing that people really don't like about the RC3 is the price. And I will say, like, it's $1,800. I think it's $1,800 street price for that thing. That's hella money for a suppressor. I will say that. However, to me, it's like I'm not super price sensitive. I just look at that. It's kind of like reminds me of buying an iPhone. It's like, oh yeah, I want the iPhone Pro Max. That looks super nice. And then you price it and you're like, oh, but I'd like my phone to have memory. And then Apple will charge you like, I don't know, $200 or $400 extra, depending how much memory you have. It's like, I know that memory doesn't cost that much. They're just sticking it in my butthole. But they're doing that because they know I want the phone and they're going to take their pound of flesh. That's kind of how I view the pricing of Surefire products. It's like they have a product that I want and they know I want the thing, but they're going to take their pound of flesh. Do I like that it's $1,800? No, I don't like that. That seems like a lot of money. However, I'm going to buy it anyway because it's the one that I want. And I know like I differ with people with my mentality on that stuff, but that's just kind of how I view it. So if you listen to that, as far as the use case, like I'm good, I want a hard use training suppressor. I'm going to wear it out. I'm not super sensitive to all of like the stuff that's on the spec sheet, the weight, the sound, blah, blah, like that stuff. I don't care about, I don't notice a difference in terms of practical usage. So therefore I don't care about it that much. Um, to me, the RC3 makes sense. Like it's like and it's not really close. Like I wouldn't want a Hux cam. Like I'm not interested. I would just want more RC3s. But that's me. Like for my use case, like the way that I'm going to use it and shoot it that much, like to me that kind of makes sense. But for most of you, as you listen to this, you'd be like, this does not make sense to me. I don't want this. If you want just something that you're going to stick on the end of the gun, like in case you need to use it, that kind of a thing, and you're not really going to train with it, or you're not going to use it that much or whatever. Like this doesn't make sense for most people. I would look at it and just say like, yeah, I don't think the RC3 makes sense for you, probably. But for me, it does make sense. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the RC3. I'm sure I'm going to get filleted in the comments, but I'm just telling you guys, I see the hate that thing gets online, but for me, it's like, it is the one to buy. And it's like a no brainer to me that like that fits what I want it for.